I don't doubt the effects of rapidly improving AI will be far greater in many industries like distribution and farming, where jobs will ultimately be lost to fully autonomous systems. But are machines about to rise up utilizing the power of rock and wipe songwriters from the face of the earth? I don't think it will replace creators. Creators are always going to create. They are driven to do it, and that for me is my definition of art. If somebody creates something purely to serve itself, it serves no practical function. Maybe they find it a cathartic experience, but they're basically just driven to do it. That is my definition of art. So Tracy Emin's Unmade Bed is art. It didn't need to exist. It made a statement, and I guess by my definition that is art. Now, whether it's good art or not is entirely subjective, but that's my definition of it. So for me, I think that pressing a button and having somebody generate something so that you can then have a hit with it isn't really art. But if you use it as a writing pal that you can basically say, no, that's rubbish, and he'll continually throw ideas back to you without ever getting offended, then I guess it just becomes a tool. And musicians already use tools to assist them in the production of records, from the widely derided auto-tune through to a myriad of VSTs capable of producing sounds and rhythms with human feel, with little or no music knowledge required to operate them. In the intro jam, I basically got some samples and I spliced them together in various sequences. They're free samples, and I could see what keys they were in. I had to time stretch some things, I had to shift the key of various things, and I was able to manipulate the audio into some form of I'm going to call it a song. So the reason I'm telling you this, and the reason that I created the intro jam in this way, is that it's a pretty widely accepted methodology of creating a pop tune these days, and it's interesting to note that you don't actually have to be a musician in order to facilitate it. Now, it's not the one-click to instant gratification that AI could eventually lead to, but I think you'd have to agree that there are some striking similarities. So I took a look at ChatGPT, which is the main open AI source that everyone's raving about, and in particular the JukeBox project, where they are trying to generate music as one giant globule of sound, which is an unusual way of going about things. I thought that it'd be similar to something like Band in a Box that's been around for 33 years, would you believe? It came out in 1990. Where you input a chord and then you ask for a certain style of music and it would generate something in a rock or a pop style. This is not doing that. As I understand it, and I could be wrong, please post in the comments if I've got the wrong idea about this entirely. There's quite a lot of technical jargon on the site, and it's worth reading to see what it's all about. But they seem to be trying to generate the whole song as one sample. Without the options afforded you by a multi-channel recording, it greatly reduces the capacity for creative input on behalf of the end user, and you'd have to question how much of a part of the writing process they really were, given that the original conception wasn't their own. You could argue that this lack of original creation applies to the use of loops and samples, but it's a completely accepted facet of modern pop. Now, my intro jam also utilized the use of virtual instruments. I used something called TuneTrack Easy Keys, which is not AI, but operates more along the lines of where I think it will probably end up, where you can input a chord and it will play something in a style, a given comping style. And then I used Easy Cinematic EasyX extension for a kind of a pad sound in the background. And I was going to do the same with the bass, but I couldn't get it to output something that I liked, so I ended up playing the bass myself. And then I actually mastered it using an AI program on a website called Lambda, Landr. Lambda and other sites like it analyze your mix and then using a custom plugin chain aim to output your master within a desirable set of parameters. In so doing, they offer an AI assist to production rather than a complete solution. So could AI actually change music for the better or worse? I think in pop music it would be hard to make the lyrics worse than where they are right now. For the most part, there's a lot of very generic lyrics. I think you'd have to agree. I'm not kidding here. I ran a search for lyrics featuring one of the most vapid of all cliched pop motifs, the word starlight, and found over 6,000 songs on one website alone. I've placed some of them here and removed the artist names for their own protection. However, some of the things you are reading are not written by people. I asked ChatGPT to write some lyrics utilizing the word starlight, and it obliged, and as you can see, wrote something fairly comparable to those found in other pop songs. So it's just going to regurgitate that same stuff and throw it back to us in a different way, and that's the problem I think with AI, is that it's going to make pop music stagnate even more than it is already. We've been in a place in pop for about maybe 10 years where nothing new seems to have really come along, and that can only get worse with AI since it's based purely on what's come before. So it's got about 600,000 samples, it said, of both the music and the lyrics, and it's able to extract from that various styles that it's been told exist. And then when you ask it for something in a given style, it will output something. The problem is it can't change music. It can't come up with a different style, a new angle on something. A real person can always come up with an interesting or unique thought. Now, good luck getting someone to listen to that unique thought, but at least you can move music forwards or backwards, as the case may be, but at least it doesn't stagnate. And I think that's going to be an unfortunate side effect of AI. Whilst the technology is groundbreaking and will no doubt become another tool in some form for the production of music, and where pop is concerned, unregulated use will almost definitely become widespread, the question is, will you even notice the difference? Anyway, thanks for watching guys, I'll see you next time. Later.